Here's some weird news for you. Florida police officers are accused of jailing their young son over potty training accidents. Well, how else is he supposed to learn? What's the big deal? Right? This seems like an overreaction. We've got about 2 million people incarcerated in this country right now. And quite frankly, that number is too low. We gotta start locking these kids up to keep that prison for profit system flowing smoothly. We depend upon it in this country. People are too soft nowadays. These beta male millennial parents, they're afraid to send their kids to jail for misbehavior. And when you've got a kid that can't keep the turds out of his trousers, you've got yourself a doo-doo derelict who deserves some dump-your-pants discipline, right? It's the first rule in the potty to penitentiary training method. If Junior keeps wetting himself, you send his ass to piss pants prison to think about his accidents. As simple as that. Parenting 101 in my book. Can't be afraid to rule the home with an iron fist and the looming threat of incarceration, right? Here's the story. Florida police officers accused of twice putting their 3.5-year-old son in a jail cell to punish him for potty training accidents remain on the job while an investigation continues. Well, there's a silver lining. At least these people aren't missing any work. Thank God these no-nonsense officers are still out on patrol, right? The couple say they jailed their young son on October 5th and 6th in 2022. So only 2 days. What's the big hullabaloo? Only 2 days. That's a short stint for improper bladder control where I come from. Sounds like a lenient sentence to me. The little criminal miscreant got off easy. This is down in Florida. Electric chair's probably on the table down there. You know? The parents and the child remain unidentified, but according to the article, the mother is a detective and the father is a lieutenant with the Daytona Beach Shores Police Department. That sounds like a nice unit. Sounds like a unit that specializes in arresting minority children for building sandcastles, but, you know, I'm sure they do some fine work down there. The child's mother said she didn't believe they did anything wrong, adding, "It's just people getting it twisted." She called the investigation the definition of insanity, and that's absolutely right, Mom. It's the attention to the story that's the problem. You know? Bunch of crying, snowflake yuppie guardians who are afraid to up the ante when it comes to timeout. I think that's criminal. The father told investigators it's just disgusting. It's disgusting that somebody would drag our family through the mud like this. Absolutely right, Dad. He explained that their daycare center requires children to stop using diapers by age 3, but the boy was still having accidents, so while the school was being lenient, they were trying everything possible to get him potty trained. He said, "We've tried books. We've tried run around without pants. You name it." Okay, let's pause right there, please. Run around without pants? I am unfamiliar with this as a potty training tactic. All I know is that when I try the run around without pants method, I'm asked to vacate Wendy's. So what's that about? After continued accidents, they confronted the boy. He said, "You know what I do for a living. I'm a cop. I take bad boys to jail that don't follow the law. You aren't following the rules. Let's go to jail." And I think that seems pretty reasonable. Dad sounds like a reasonable man. Rules are rules. It's totally normal to treat your 3-year-old like a criminal when he has an accident. It's important. It's imperative to instill that fear of law enforcement at a very young age. Nothing soothes the bladder like the threat of imprisonment, right? The father said the cell was nasty, so he checked it out for contraband before putting his son inside. Responsibility. That's a responsible dad. Said the boy was behind bars for about 13 minutes and he had eyes on him the whole time. He was crying, the father said. I was getting the response I expected from him. He said the boy's mother had placed him in the cell the day before for about 3 minutes. Only 3 minutes the day before. That is nothing. Typical mom being the easy parent, only sending the kid to the jail for 3 minutes. You know, going easy on him. This kid's been on the planet for about 40 months and already has 16 minutes of jail time under his belt. That's pretty impressive. He's got a rep when he goes to preschool. That's pretty cool. According to the father, the tactic worked. Silver lining. The tactic worked. The child made good on his promise not to have any more accidents. And That is slightly surprising because, the threat of imprisonment during my potty training journey would most likely have caused me to piss my pants at a much higher frequency. They'd be calling me Miles Davis. I'd be so fucking cool, pissing my pants all day. But, in all seriousness, this is a kind of disturbing story. It's frightening to imagine how these law enforcement officers would treat actual lawbreakers if this is how they discipline their own children, And thank God their son was not black. Otherwise, their police training might have kicked in and, we'd be hearing about use of lethal force for a pants wetting infraction. That would be no good. No one would want that.